everybody. So happy summer. I hope you're all enjoying the beautiful weather. It's a season of traveling. There's a season of moving around here. I'm in San Diego on a little road trip when I'm filming this. So I want to show you a yoga video that you can do when you don't have access to your props or a lot of regular stuff at home. And so what I'm going to be using, I've actually just got a hand towel, and that should be plenty. That's all you really need. I have also a regular towel, and so what I'm kind of using is the hand towel can double as a strap, and then the regular towel I can use more as a blanket or even a block. Sometimes it can give you some elevation in the hips. So those are things that are often there at your hotel or whatever that you'll have around. So and yoga mat, if you don't have one, you can do it on the ground. You can do it on a towel. It can be a little slippery, but there are a couple different things you can do. So we'll begin seated. I'm gonna just take that regular towel and fold it up a few times to give me just a little bit more height, because I kind of like to get the hips higher than the knees. Just kind of helps the hips release a little bit more. I'll take the hands to the hips, pull the flesh out from underneath you, allow the tailbone to drop to the earth, and then we'll take 3 shoulder squeezes to the ears. So you'll inhale, squeeze it up. You're pulling your fingertips into your palms. Exhale, let it go. And really breathe out to release everything here. So 2 more. Inhale, squeeze it up. Exhale, let it go. And one last time. Inhale, squeeze it up. And exhale, let it go. We start with the palms facing upwards on the knees. The thumb and index finger touch and the eyes close. And you're taking your attention to your breath. And you can notice the breath just in the nostrils or the belly. And imagine your spine moving a little bit further away from your sternum. So there's more depth there in the body. And so especially when we've been traveling, when we've been on planes or in cars, there's this kind of compression that can happen in the body. And we want to take some time to release it, open it back up. Let ourselves become more 3-dimensional. So again, thinking of this depth in your torso, the space between your sternum and your spine. And perhaps engaging Ujjayi Pranayama, slight constriction in the back of the throat as you're breathing in and out through the nostrils, sound a bit like the ocean waves. Just letting it rinse you like water rinses your skin. And now taking one hand to your heart, one to your belly. You're connecting with these 2 centers of wisdom, the heart center, the belly. And the belly is actually linked both, of course, with relaxation here. Relaxation and then also power. It's the 3rd chakra linked with the ability to do. So letting that belly really expand. And the heart center is linked more with compassion, love, grief, vulnerability. You can set an intention for your practice here today. Maybe just to ground as things move around for us. And then gently open up the eyes. Release your hands down by the hips. And you'll find that hand towel. And so this is where if you're at home and you have a yoga strap or you have a belt or you have a TheraBand, All those things will work. So just something that is coming, you want to have it about as wide as your knees. In fact, a little bit wider might be better if you have really long arms. So adjusting as you need. Next inhale reaches you up, and then exhale, bend your elbows down and back. So you're opening up your collarbones, you're stretching out your pectorals, and then inhale, get that height, reach it up. Exhale, let your head and neck relax back. So you're decompressing the throat. Inhale, back up, reach the crown of the head to the sky. Exhale, bend those elbows down and back. I'm kind of letting my chin drop a little down towards my chest so the back of my neck can stretch. And then again, inhale, I'm coming up. Exhale, take the strap forward as I let the head and neck drop back in opposition, letting your shoulders actually roll a little forward. So the inhale is reaching you up, shoulder blades pull down, chin drops a little bit, decompress the back of the neck. Inhale is taking you up, and then exhale as you come forward, the throat opens, the shoulders can actually come a little bit up and forward. Stretch out the sides of the shoulders or tops of the shoulders. Inhale takes you back up. Exhale to bend. Inhale up. Exhale, take it forward, throat opens. Up again. Inhale up. Exhale, bending, drop that chin. Inhale, come up, exhale, let the arms come forward as you open up the throat, let the area around the shoulder and neck connection stretch. Inhale takes you back up, and then exhale, take it to one side. Feel free to bend the elbow or lean a little bit. This is a little more free form. So you can open up that left lung, and then you can take the strap back behind you. You can go over to the other side, getting into the right lower lung. Just breathing it open. Shoulders get tight in general, but certainly if you've been in transportation. We're coming back up. Stretch those arms in front of you, take it forward, and then you can release your strap down to the side. One more thing for the shoulders while we're seated, bend your elbows, eagle arms. So you can take your left elbow down under your right. Now, if this is already a lot, you can stay here, or you could even just take this same right arm and stretch it out towards your left side. So that can already be getting into your tricep, into the muscles of the back. If you want to go for full eagle and that's available to you today, you can take those left fingertips and press them against the right palm. Make sure your elbows are the same height as your shoulders, so we don't want them dropping to the chest. We want that lift. And you're breathing in whichever option you've taken into your torso, helping your body become more three-dimensional here. Very good, and then you can reach your arms out like a T. Maybe take the hands back a little bit further to release what we just did. On your next exhale, you're switching elbows. So now you've got the right elbow down under the left. So you've got your choices. You might do the full eagle arms. You might work on extending the left arm towards that right side wall. That might feel good, or again, you might do the full eagle. Play with turning your head a little bit left and right. So we're trying to teach the shoulders and the head and neck, but they are separate beings. They do not move as one. And then you can take the head back to stillness, just a few more breaths there. All right, very good. Releasing your arms out, take the hands down to your knees. Start to roll it around, so you can twist, you can turn, you can release that mid-upper back. Again, that whole idea of becoming more three-dimensional. And then you're taking your right fingertips to the right. Use your inhale, get really tall with your left arm, and exhale, bend that lower elbow. So the top arm is going up and over. And you're hydrating that lower left lung. And next inhale takes you back up. Exhale, hands go to the knees, roll it around the other direction. So this is pretty free form. For some people, it might be more about shoulders. For others, it might be like a really deep lean. Just do what feels best. This is a Kundalini inspired movement. So more about unfurling. And then we're taking the left fingertips to the left. Use your inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. And you're bending your lower elbow. That top arm is going up and over. And then inhale takes you back up. Exhale, release the hands down by the knees. Now keep that left knee bent, and we're taking Janu Shasana variation 2. So you're reaching your right leg out to the right. This is where, if you're at home or you have your props, and if you're feeling kind of tight, a block is really gonna help you out. It's gonna help you not cave around the back too much. We don't wanna lose all that openness in the chest that we just gained from the shoulder opening. So you've got, again, that right leg extending out to the right. Now this is where I'm gonna use a strap. So if you have that strap, you're wrapping it around the ball of the foot. So it's kind of like a little wrap, little taco thing there. Kick that heel down. That's gonna help fire the hamstring as your heel goes down into the earth. Use an inhale, reach your left arm up to the sky, and exhale takes you over. So it's the same kind of side stretch we were just doing, but now we're adding the hamstring. For those of you who are super stretchy and you want to take your middle and index finger and wrap them around that big toe, you can feel free to do so. And you just want to make sure that we don't cave. So it's not about like a drop. It's really about a lifting and a reaching. Excellent. And then inhale takes you back up. Exhale, release that strap. You can bend the right knee. Take your left leg out to the left. Same thing again. If you notice you're caving, feel free to take more towels to take a block, to get something else underneath your hips, because we really do want to make sure that the spine stays nice and upright. And then you can take your strap or your hand towel. And what I'm doing with mine is I'm kind of folding it twice. So I'm folding it lengthwise once, and then twice, so it becomes a little more pliable. Wrapping it around the ball of my foot, and then I rediscover that height. Use an inhale, reach your right arm up to the ceiling, and exhale takes you over. Kicking that left heel down into the ground as you breathe. Last few breaths. In terms of your gaze, we didn't go over that. You can look at the foot, you can look straight center, or you could look up. And you really just want to check in with your neck and go, okay, what feels best to it today? Because our necks are dealing with a lot more stuff than when these yoga poses first moved to the West. We are having a lot more strain on our necks than 100 years ago. Next inhale takes you back up. Exhale, release that strap back down. You can find your way off of the towel, move it out of your way. You're finding your way all the way down to your back. So let's extend those legs long. Flip your palms to face the ceiling. On your exhale, you're rolling all the way down to your back. Once you get down here, let's set it for bridge pose. So the first thing you're gonna do, taking the thumb and index fingers like L shapes. You're taking those on top of your hip bones and you're just kind of rocking the pelvis back and forth. So we're getting a little natural motion back into your back. If you've been seated a lot, again, with travel, that's often the case. This stuff can get stagnant, so we want to take the time to release that. We're taking the hands back to the ground. On your next exhale, that tailbone will curl up off the ground. You're lifting all the way up into your full bridge. And then you're inhaling at the very top, and then exhale, roll vertebra by vertebra down to the back. Keep on thinking about that hold becoming more three-dimensional, breathing deeply into your mid-upper back as we go. So the next exhale curls that tailbone up. You're lifting all the way up into the full pose. Inhale at the top. And then exhale, roll vertebra by vertebra down to the back, releasing. Inhale to arch. Exhale, roll vertebra by vertebra all the way up to the bridge. So you're gonna stay in the bridge and hold a few breaths. I'll come out of it, but you'll stay right here for a few more breaths. So you've got those last few breaths in your bridge. And if you'd like to add a little bit of movement here, you can play with pulling that right knee back, stacking it on top of the right hip and then taking it down. And you're marching side to side. So you can either stick with the holding of the bridge, which is actually challenging in its own right, or you can play with these marches, which are really good for your gait, for your walk, which we're all doing hopefully. Okay. The left foot comes down, exhale, rolls you down to your back. You're hugging your knees back into the chest. Now I kind of give myself a little moment of an arch just to help my back release after some of that rounding. Knees hug into the chest. And you can stay here, you can roll those knees around, or you can take a happy baby. So happy baby, hands can go to the back of the thighs or the ankles or the outsides of the feet, just finding an area you can reach for. Letting it feel good, getting into whatever is tight. You can play with kind of a Peter Pan shape where you're stretching out one leg and bending the other. You can even, if the hamstrings are feeling ready, you could even work on straightening out the legs and lifting the hips a bit up off the ground. Good. And then you're hugging the knees back into the chest. You're rocking all the way up to seated and then making your way to hands and knees. So you're spreading wide through all 10 fingers. Let's tuck the toes. Just sometimes it's a good idea to do that to help the feet stay agile. Now let's move through the cat-cow. So you're melting between the shoulder blades. Inhale, stretch your chest forward. Exhale, get into that nice deep round and hollowing of your back. And again, inhale, opens you up. Exhale, get into the round. Inhale takes you forward. Exhale to round it out. Inhale forwards and then exhale rounding. Good, come back to center, untuck your toes, take those toes back to the back edge of your mat. Keep your hips stacked right on top of the knees. And then walking your hands straight forward. So you're coming into puppy pose. So for this pose, you'll see my hips are right on top of my knees. I'm working on pulling the shoulder blades down away from the ears. And if you're very flexible, some people, they kind of go into this like deep sink. Now that can be a bit of a strain on the shoulder joint. So try not to sink and more to stretch and pull the bottom ribs towards each other. Maybe shaking the head yes or no. Think about the scapula pulling towards each other as well, like you're trying to pinch a pencil between the shoulder blades. We're doing a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, you're coming back to all fours and taking snake. So the thing you really want to do is take your right ear towards your right shoulder, stretch out the left side of your neck. So it's like, oh, a stretch in the left side of the neck. Stretch so much that your left hip goes over to the left and then you reverse. So now you're going left ear to the left shoulder, stretch out the right side of the neck, and then other side. So you're really working on that, pulling your ear away from one shoulder as your hips kind of swivel behind you. And then coming back to center, let's come a little bit further forward. So you've got enough space behind you. You're sending your left leg back. Tuck the left toes. Press back and forth with that back heel. So you're waking up your left calf, The sole of the foot is waking up as well. You're spreading wide through all 10 fingers. And if you ever get wrist pain here, you can always be on your knuckles. You can always kind of calm it down that way. And now right hand to just below the belly button. So right middle finger is just below your belly button. Extend your right arm forward for hunter dog pose. You can stay there or you can lift that left leg. Now they'll both give you something. I'm gonna keep my toes down because I like that stretch in my calf. Either one. And then you're coming all the way down to all fours. And let's just do the second side. So you've got that right leg going back. You're spreading wide through all 5 right toes. Take that left middle finger just below the belly button and reach it forward. So you can stay right here, or you can lift that right foot up off the ground. And the trick is, instead of letting it arch in your back, you want to keep pulling in from those bottom ribs if you have that leg out. Good, and then we take the foot and the hand back down. Let's give that right calf a little time to stretch and release. So you could hold in one spot or you could press back and forth with the back heel. Good, okay, now let's go into a high plank. So keep that right leg where it is. Send the left leg back to meet it. You can be on your elbows if that's better for your shoulder or for your wrist, excuse me. So you've got palms on the ground or elbows depending on your wrists. Reach with the crown of the head all the way forward. So you want to imagine that your head is another appendage. The same way you stretch through your legs, same feeling as you reach with the crown of the head all the way towards the opposite wall. And make sure we don't want to be reaching with the chin. It's going to feel almost like the back of the top of the head is lengthening forward. And as you're breathing here, you're coming back to your Ujjayi Pranayama. Ocean-like breath. Rinsing all the travel gunk out of your body. Okay, we're coming into down dog. So those of you who are on your elbows, you're coming back up to your palms. You're spreading wide through all 10 fingers. Pull your hips up and back. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is think about those inner elbows facing each other. Then I'm going to walk my feet forward just a bit. You don't need to. Everybody's a little different there. So if it feels good, you could walk your feet forward a little bit. Your feet should be about hip distance or maybe just a touch wider. And you can play with pedaling out your dog. So you can bend one knee or the other. You really want to work on all that length in the spine. We've already talked about the depth between the sternum and the spine. Now we want the length all the way down into the pelvis. A few more breaths. Okay, next inhale, let's lift that right leg. Exhale, sweep the right foot between the hands for the runner's lunge. Use your inhale, gazes forward, deep bend in that right knee. Exhale, step that left foot forward to meet the right. You can bend the knees or keep the legs straight. Inhale, flat back, extend, hands to the legs. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, reach it up to the sky. Interlace the hands together above the head, pointer fingers are free, open it up. Exhale, swan dive back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Send that left leg all the way back. Right knee is on top of the right ankle and then all the way back into your downward facing dog. Next, inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, sweep the foot between the hands. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale up to standing. You can interlace other thumb on top. Really get tall, lift out of the pelvis. And then exhale, swan dive down to the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Bend those knees. Giant reach back with the right leg. And then finding your way back into your downward facing dog on your exhale. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, sweep the right foot between the hands, deep bend in the knee. Inhale, lower the hips, so lift the gaze. Exhale, step it forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, up to standing. Other thumb on top, rib cage out of the pelvis. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, flat back extend. Exhale, bend those knees, hands to the ground. Left leg goes all the way back, gigantic reach. And downward facing dog. And again, inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, bend that left knee, sweep that left foot forward. If it ever gets stuck, use the left hand, give it a little bit of a push. Next, inhale, lower the hips and lift the gaze. Exhale to step it forwards. Maybe the knees bend. Inhale, flat back, heart lifts. Exhale to fold. Inhale, up to standing. Maybe interlace other thumb on top if you'd like. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Send that right leg all the way back. And then the left leg goes back to meet it, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, sweep the right foot down. Inhale, crescent lunge. Both arms go straight up to the ceiling. Inner thighs are squeezing towards each other. Exhale, hands back down by that right foot. Step it into your forward fold. Inhale, flat back extend. Exhale to fold. Inhale, straight up. Maybe you interlace the hands or just keep them separate. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Send the left leg back. Feel free to stay here if that's better for you. Otherwise, you can inhale into a full crescent. And then exhale, hands go back down by that right foot. Sending it back into your downward facing dog. One more like that. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, bend that left knee. Sweep the left foot forward. Inhale, either just look forward or your arms are going straight up into the crescent. So you choose. Exhale, hands go back down. Step it into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, up to standing. Maybe hands separate or maybe them together. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Send that right leg back. Option one, stay down. Option two, inhale, both arms straight up to the sky for the crescent. Exhale, hands back down. Now let's step it all the way into your plank. Let's pause here. So you can spread wide through all 10 fingers. My middle fingers are pointing a little bit out just to give my shoulders a bit more space. Inner elbows are facing each other. We're coming back to the breath. You're reaching with the crown of the head straight forward. You're pulling up from your lower throat muscles. Now, I'll talk you through a vinyasa. There are a couple options. If you already know what you're doing, find your way. I'll talk you through vinyasa option one. So that has your knees dropping to the ground for knees, chest, chin. Your hips pull back towards your heels. Then you bend your elbows. You start to take your heart right between the thumbs and your chin goes down to the ground. Then inhale. You're doing a little baby cobra. Your toenails press down. You're pulling up from the lower throat muscles. Exhale, back down. Tuck your toes. You're sending it all the way back into downward facing dog. Now look between your thumbs. On your exhale, you can step or float your feet to meet your hands. Use your inhale, flat back extend. Exhale to fold. And then inhale takes you up to standing. On your exhale, Utkatasana chair pose. So you're taking your big toes together. You're coming all the way down to seated. Into a chair. Sit into an imaginary chair, I should say. So I just moved so you can see me. You're still at the front of your mat. So you're still right up here. You want to be pulling those hips back as if someone has pulled a chair out for you that you just cannot quite get into. If you want to add a little bit more stretchiness in the spine, you can reach your arms straight forward. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, hands to the left side of that left knee. So this guy is going to help you start to unfurl and unwind that spine, again, from the stiffness that is common with travel. If you'd like to take a prayer twist, you can bend those elbows out to the sides. Take the palms towards the sternum. Keep on pulling the hips back. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. And then your you're finding your way down into your forward fold, separate your feet wider than hip distance. Grasp the elbows. Maybe the knees are bent or straight, and then just sway side to side. Maybe shake head yes or no. Now you've got a few choices. Choice one, stay here and enjoy that forward fold. Choice two, if you want to do a vinyasa with me, you can release those arms. Inhale, flat back, extend. Exhale, hands to the ground, spread wide through all 10 fingers. You're sending it back into your plank. We're taking a few breaths here. So if you liked that knees, chest, chin, and that felt good to you, please do that instead of chaturanga. I do that whenever my wrists or shoulders are bugging me. Now for chaturanga, I'll demonstrate it with the knees down, but you can make it harder by keeping the knees up. Chaturanga, you want to be moving in one slow pace. So on your exhale, you're squeezing your elbows down or back by the ribs as your heart and your hips are totally linked. Then inhale, you're coming into your full up dog. Your toenails push down into the ground as your heart lifts. My hips are off the ground, so I'm pushing the hands down into the ground to lift the heart. And then exhale, tuck the toes back to down dog. So some of you might have just been staying in the forward fold the whole time and enjoying that. Wonderful. So if you're in down dog, you're stepping your feet forward to meet the hands. We're all back in a forward fold. Use your inhale, flat back, extend. Exhale to fold. Let's just do one more like that. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, let it go. Good. Inhale up to standing. Your big toes come together. Heels are just a little bit apart, like an inch. On your next exhale, chair. So you are welcome just to stay right here if the twist isn't feeling quite right to you today. You want to make sure you're pulling those hips back. You want to see the tops of your feet. If you're going for the twist, your palms press together in elongated prayer. We dive the hands to the outside of that right knee. See if you can still breathe in this one. This is about getting more depth in the back body, getting more space for your lungs back there. If you'd like to take the prayer twist, you inhale, open up those elbows to the sides. Exhale, rotate the rib cage to the right as you work on getting your thumbs in line with the center of the sternum. And you're still breathing out. All right, very good. Releasing into your forward fold. One thing that might feel good is to bend the knees. Take your hands together behind the back. Interlace the hands, pointer fingers are free. And inhale to open up the chest. Exhale to hinge. So you want to really concentrate on not letting your shoulders just go towards your ears. You want to work on opening up the chest. More space for the breath there. And then exhale, release the hands back down. Hands to shins, thighs or the ground. Inhale, flat back, extend. Exhale, hands to the ground. Send it back into your plank. And you've got a couple choices. You might take a child's pose. You might do a down dog. If you want to do a vinyasa, you can do any of the other ones I just showed you, or if you want to do the full chaturanga, you can squeeze your elbows by the ribs. Now, I like to only come down halfway. That's best for my wrists. You can go further if you want. You're untucking your toes. You're on your toenails now. And then inhale. You're pushing your toenails into the ground as your heart is moving forwards and up. And then exhale, downward facing dog. You tuck those toes. You send it all the way back. Next, inhale. Lifts that right leg. Stack the right hip on top of the left, bend the knee, toes dangle. Maybe roll out that ankle, keeping your shoulder blades pulling away from the ears. And then inhale, stretch that right leg long. Exhale, sweep the right foot between the hands. We're going to be coming into a warrior two, but you do want to have your strap here. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to grab my little hand towel, your hand towel, your strap, whatever you got. And then I'm turning my back heel down. So I want my heels to line up. Toes, my back toes are turning in just a little bit. And I'm trying to make sure I'm spreading wide through all 5 right toes. If my big toe wants to do a bunion thing over to my second toe, I literally manually adjust it, because your feet are pliable. And then my right hand's got the strap. My left hand will take me up into my warrior 2. So we pause here, keeping the strap in the right hand, gaze just beyond that front middle finger. Good. And then straightening out that front leg. Let's adjust the feet. So, you're coming into your goddess squat, also called your temple squat. You're turning the toes out about 45 degrees. The knees are bending. So you have knees right on top of the ankles. You do not want this. You want to have those toes in more of a 45-degree position. Now straighten out the legs. We're going to do the same thing we did at the very beginning with our shoulders. So you're reaching your arms forward to the sky, forward and then up to the sky. Inhale, lengthens the arms. Exhale, bend those elbows, bend those knees. And again, inhale, find all the length in your legs and punch the fist to the sky. Exhale, bend those knees. Let the arms come forward, head and neck drop back. Inhale, straighten everything to the sky. Exhale, bend those knees and elbows. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, knees bend, hands come forward. You're kind of pulling out on the strap. Inhale, lengthens you up. Exhale, bend the knees and elbows. Inhale, lengthens you up. Exhale, bend the knees, take the arms forward, head drops back. Inhale, back up, stay for the exhale. And then roll it around however feels good. So now you can add the hips too. If you want to do any sort of outer hip stretching, you can roll out the back, the shoulders. Good. Let's place that strap to the ground. We will use it again. We're coming back into warrior 2 on that right side. Nice deep bend in the front knee. Arms open like a T. On your exhale, hands go down by that front foot. Send it back. You can do a vinyasa if you want to put it in, feel free. Otherwise, you're going straight to downward facing dog. All right, inhale, left leg rises. Stack that left hip on top of the right. Bend the knee, toes dangle. Maybe shake head yes or no. And inhale, straighten the left leg out. Exhale, sweep the foot between the hands. We're getting ready for the warrior 2 on the second side. So we don't need to have the strap in the hand, but let's just take it on the inside of the left foot so it will be available for you. Heels are lining up. Inhale, right arm leads you up to the ceiling. Stay for the exhale, look just beyond that left middle finger. Good. And then straighten out that left leg. We're setting up for Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm going to turn around just so I can face you, but you're welcome just to stay exactly as you're oriented. So you're on your left warrior 2. You've got your strap, and then you're straightening out both legs. Let's turn both toes to point straight forward and just a little bit inward. Your hands are going back behind you. It's pretty familiar at this point. You're taking your hands to the outsides of that towel, if it's a towel. It should be a little wider than your shoulders. Inhale, open up the chest. Now don't let those elbows lock. Little bend in the elbows. Exhale, slowly hinging at the waist. The collarbones stay open, open. So again, it's not about like, oh, how far can I get my hands down? It's about how open can I keep my chest while I breathe into my hamstrings. Okay, next inhale takes you back up. Exhale just to release the strap out of your way. You're finding your warrior two, so same side. We're on the left side that you just did. I'm just facing the opposite way. And then exhale, your hands cartwheel down by that front foot. Send it back. Feel free to take a vinyasa if you'd like, or just exhale into your down dog. And then drop those knees down to the ground. Let's take the soles of the feet together as you come down to seated. So we'll do a little Baddha Konasana. Cobbler's pose. It's really good for opening up the hips and the thighs again if you've been seated a lot. So your hands are going back behind you. You're using your inhale to open up your chest. And you can stay for the exhale. You can even play with bending your elbows towards each other to make sure the collarbones are staying open. And this is where if you're tight and you're kind of rounded in your Baddha Konasana, you can take that first towel, or for those of you at home, you can grab a block or a yoga blanket, and you can give yourself a little something to sit on. Just so we don't let the knees come above the hips. So you might have your hands back behind you. If you'd like to fold, you can take your hands to your ankles or the outsides of your feet. You can release the head and neck, and then inhale, get even taller. Exhale, hinging at the waist. You can even wrap your fingers around your toes, especially for those of you who tend to have kind of cold feet. It can feel nice. We're breathing into whatever is stretching. You can pull those knees back together. You can use the exhale to come off of your block or towel. Stretch your legs long on the ground. You can scooch forward. Make sure you've got enough room to roll back. Your palms face the sky. Next exhale rolls you all the way down to your back. Let's do just one bridge pose. Knees bend, feet are hip distance, knees over the ankles. Inhale, lift those hips to the sky. Stay for the exhale, maybe interlace the hands if it feels good with the pointer fingers free. And release the hands. Exhale, roll vertebra by vertebra down to your back. Once you get down there, just like we did at the beginning, you can hug the knees. Maybe that feels best to stay, or you could do a happy baby where you grab back the thighs, ankles, outsides of the feet, or peace fingers, so that's middle and index finger, and that wraps around the inside of the big toe. So it's also called, I don't hear this one too much because it's not such an attractive name, but it is also called dead bug. It kind of gives you the right image of those knees bending as you open up. Hips, hamstrings. Again, remember, just like we did before, if you want to get more into a straight leg, that can feel good on your low back to let your tailbone lift. Releasing cars, airplanes, whatever you've been encapsulated in. Let's hug those knees again. Back into the chest. You can roll the ankles around. Let's find our trusty smaller strap again. So this is my smaller towel. If your hamstrings are more tight, the bigger towel actually might be better because it'll have more length. We are extending that left leg long. First, hug the right knee back into the chest, breathing into the left quad, left psoas, left hip, and then you're placing the ball of the right foot in your strap and starting to straighten it to the sky. Work on dropping your arm bones back into your shoulder sockets. You're breathing into that right hamstring. You can also, if you want, just put the strap in one hand, so you could use your right hand and place the left hand on the left hip. A few more breaths. And then you can take that right leg out to the right. And now what you want to make sure is that you're not letting the back of your left hip lift off the ground. You're breathing into that left hip thigh area as you're opening the right leg out. Pressing down with the left hand. And inhale back up, you're switching hands, so the strap is now in your left hand. Find your hamstring stretch again, and then reach your right arm out like a T. So we're taking that right leg, we start with it only about no more than a foot across, because we want to get into the outside of that right hip. The right thigh, oof. You might stay here, or if you want a full spinal twist, the best way to do that is kind of bring your left ankle a little further center, pull your left hip under your right hip, and then let the right leg go all the way over. So you're working on dropping the right shoulder blade to the ground, maybe releasing the head and neck. And then you take it back up. We're coming back to center, so you can bend the left knee to recenter the pelvis. And let's start by releasing that strap down. Hug the right knee into the chest, stretch out that right leg, and now draw the left knee back into the chest. So you might roll the knee around. Or hold in one spot. And now you can find your strap or your towel again. You're placing the left foot in the strap. You can have both hands or just the one. Checking in with your jaw and your face, if it can relax a little bit more. Keeping that right hand anchored on the right hip, or take it down if you don't have it yet. And let's take that left leg out to the left. So it actually requires some stability to keep the back of the right hip down, keep the back of the right hip down, keep the back of the right hip down. Ugh. Shoulders down away from the ears. Oof. And you're taking it back up. So you're switching hands. Let's take the right hand to the strap. Reach the left arm out like a T. And we want to find that hamstring stretch again. Then you can take the leg about half a foot, no more than a whole foot. Ooh. We're trying to stretch out the outer left hip and the outer left thigh. Also get more of a hamstring stretch. If you'd like the full spinal twist, you bring that right heel a little more center, adjust your right hip back under your left, and then taking the left leg across the body. Maybe release the head and neck. Good. Next, inhale takes you back up. You're bending your left knee. You can remove the strap or the towel out of your way. Find your way back to center. Give yourself a final hug. Draw the knees to the brain, and then finding your way into your final rest shavasana. So you're welcome. If you want to have a little pillow for your head, you could take that first towel, fold it up, whatever feels best, or you could even do this little towel. You've got it folded lengthwise. And again, and then, there we go. There are different ways to roll it underneath you, so it could go under the back of the neck, just finding something that feels more or less comfortable. Palms facing the sky. Checking in here with the face, the soles of the feet. We've just got a couple minutes here, so you're welcome to take, got some trucks behind me. You're welcome to take longer if you're at home and you've got the time. We'll just be here for a couple minutes. Heart is light, body is supported. Final rest shavasana. Gently starting to deepen the breaths. Maybe wiggling fingers or toes. Rolling out the ankles, you could stretch your arms over the head. And then rolling to right side for grounding. In a fetal position. And then you can take left hand first to the ground, let it push you all the way up to seated. Take your time to get resituated. Maybe you're using that thicker towel or block as a little seat cushion. Pause with your palms facing downwards on the knees. Close your eyes and just check back in, finding the length in the spine. All that depth, expansion, and length we've been working towards. Reaching your arms straight up to the ceiling. Press the palms together. Thumbs come to your third eye for clarity of thought. Thumbs to lips for clarity of speech. Thumbs to heart center for clarity of action. Thank you for